Hi everybody, this is Anne. In a previous video, I introduced you guys to creating faceted pottery using handheld extruder tools. One of the techniques in particular I was very fascinated with. I call it the reverse facet. Here you can see where I used the reverse facet technique along the rim of this particular vase. In case you missed the original video, check out the link above. In this video, I decided to explore how I can take this idea to another level by designing 3 variations with it. I threw 3 new pieces to experiment with, and I let them dry to leather hard. First, I thought I would do the reverse facets on a foot. This elevated bowl lends itself to more elaborate decoration towards the bottom of the piece. I removed the bowl, then turned over the base. Using bamboo sticks, I centered the trim tool on top of the opening. The trim tool is color-coded with marks so you can section off a circle. I want to create 5 divisions on this base. The purple marks are the ones I need to look for. Now I need to cut out the appliques. I rolled the top of my clay block with a rolling pin to flatten it out. I'm going to do the cutting with this diamond core triangle hand extruder. I set the sled to above the center of the extruder, then proceeded to make 5 cuts. Now I need to make a triangle template. First I measured down from the foot to how long I wanted each of the appliques, which is 1.5 inches. Then I measured the height of one of the triangle cuts, 3/4 inches. I took a piece of poster board and folded it in half. I measured 1.5 inches along the fold of the poster board. I then measured from the fold to the outside edge, or the 3/4 inch. I connected the 2 dots to form a triangle and cut it out so I had this shape. Next, I'll need something to elevate the applique. This eraser will do, and for cutting, I'm using a cheese cutter. I place the applique on top of the eraser, then place the template over the clay. Now all I needed to do was cut around the template like this. I repeated this step for all 5 appliques. Making sure it was straight, I centered the applique on the inside along one of the marks. I used my needle tool to trace around it. I scored both the inside of the piece and the back side of the applique. I slipped it and attached it well. I repeated these steps all the way around the foot. I placed the template opposite of each of the appliques and made a mark at the very tip of the template. This is also where the applique ends on the other side. I turned over the base to begin the cutting. Starting at the mark I made, I used the triangle cutter to cut the facet into the clay, following the shape of the triangle applique. I repeated this along each mark. Now I can replace the bowl. The facets add that extra touch of elegance and actually point your eye to whatever's in the container. Here's one I completed earlier with a carved platter as the main event. Now let me see if I can add facets to the center of a pot. I thought a pot with a wide tapered belly and slimmer neck might work. I cut through the neck first by making a shallow cut with a needle tool, then switched it up to an X-Acto knife for the final cut. Again, I centered the trimming spinner over the top of the opening. This time, I separated the rim into 7 parts along the orange marks. I scored, slipped, and attached triangle pieces to all 7 marks along the inner wall. I used the template to mark the outer wall at the lowest point of the inner applique. This time, I used the triangle tool starting at the lower mark I made. I began cutting upward and inward gradually, halfway up the wall. I removed the tool, then centered the tool over the core of the applique along the top edge and cut from the top to meet the bottom cut that I created already. This way, I know I won't cut through the applique, plus all the facets end in the same spot along the wall. Now I need to cut triangles to plug the upper end of the facet. I used an X-Acto knife to cut through one of the blanks. I then scored, slipped, and trimmed them into place. I did this for all 7 facets. I then scored, slipped, and replaced the top part of the pot. I really worked that seam together. Oh, it looks seamless, and I like that extra pop of interest in the design. Now here's one I created earlier. I carved intersecting lines around the facets, echoing the elongated shape, then used a contrasting colored bullseye to draw your eye into each inverted facet. Even the inside's dynamic with the facets just protruding from under the rim. For the last variation, I threw a bottomless cylinder. Again, I centered the trimming spinner and sectioned the rim, this time into thirds. I also sectioned off the bottom edge with a ruler to mirror the marks on the top. I attached the appliques, like the other variations, along each mark on both the top and the bottom edge. Again, I used a triangle tool, starting at the bottom marks, like before, to create all 6 facets. I also attached a slab to the bottom for a floor. For fun, I added notches between each facet on the top and the bottom. Since the facets were pointing down towards the center of the piece, I drew and painted a poppy scene in that space. After Jim and I finished videotaping these 3 variations, we were already coming up with more creative ways in which to use these elegant design features on pots. I challenge you to give these a try on your pottery. Thanks to the newest members of our Little Street Pottery Research Facility team. If you'd like to join the team and earn a title, click on the Super Thanks button or the link to buy me a coffee. It also really helps us out if you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. See you next time in the studio.